Good evening and welcome to the February 19th, 2020 regularly scheduled East Long Meadow Board of Library Trustees meeting. It is now about 6:03 p.m. and I'm calling this meeting to order. We'll start our roll call of attendance starting on my left with Melanie
Manheim,
Diane Tiago,
David Boucher,
Cindy McNaught,
Michelle Meyer,
Layla Johnston.
This meeting is being audio and videotaped for future broadcast on LCAT. And our first order of business is welcoming Michelle Lemire, our children's librarian. Michelle.
Hi, how are you? Thank
Good.
you for having me join you guys tonight for a little bit. So I am Michelle Meyer, I'm the children's librarian. I have been with the library for about 7 years. I've been the children's librarian for, it'll be 2 years in March. It's a pleasure just to go through some of the things that we have that go on within the children's department. It's an extremely active department. I think a bunch of you know. I think I'll first start with just some of the programming that we do. We do extensive programming in children's. We have programs for ages birth to 13 years old. We do baby programs, story times. We offer music programs for all ages. We offer dance programs once a month for birth to 4 years old. So we do stories, music, dance. We offer book clubs from kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third, fourth grade, and fifth grade and up every month. So we select a book, we order a bunch of them, they come in, they bring the book, and then we sort of have just a group discussion with each of those age groups. Again, continuing to foster the importance of reading. It's not necessarily about what they're reading, it's more so pulling them together as a group, peer group, talking and working together on different things. We have a writing workshop that meets once a month. I broke my wrist.
Did you do it on me?
No, I didn't do it at the library. Thank goodness.
I did.
And that is for third grade and up. And then we also have 2 therapy dogs that come in for reluctant readers. We just had a second one join us from Bright Spot. So once a month on Monday and once a month on Saturdays, you sign up for a 10-minute slot and you can read to a therapy dog for those reluctant readers who are uncomfortable reading out loud, but they feel very comfortable reading to these dogs. And then anytime Michael Gray is around, he does chess for us also for kindergarten and up, and that is usually 2 to 3 times a month. Very, very, very popular program for us, which is wonderful, and he does a great job with the kids. We also work very closely with an outside service, Pathways for Parents. It is a CFCE organization, which is Coordinated Family and Community Engagement Programs. They run through the EEC. It's a grant funded by the state. They, last year, ran 43 programs for us.
Wow.
We have partnered with them very strongly since I've been in the job. We've really worked very closely with them. And these are all programs that they fund for us. Their whole goal is really to ensure that we're supporting family strength, promoting the development of children, as well as working on getting kids ready for school. Mm-hmm. They really are birth to 8. And they have done individual baby programs for us. They do STEAM programs for us, and they offer a lot of parent workshops. One of the most popular ones, we've had 2 that they've ran for us. One was an IEP workshop, and the other one that they run for us about 3 times a year is a stress and anxiety in children school age. And that is a huge problem in today's kids. They're under a lot of stress and pressure, and you don't realize that these kids that are 8, 9, 10, and how much stress and anxiety that they feel. So they've been a wonderful support for us. The other big thing that the children's department does on top of all those other things is we do run a lot of service projects. Right now we're running our Boston Bruins PJ Drive through Cradle to Crayons. It runs February 1st to March 15th. This year, we have, of course, donations from the Thunderbirds. I call them and we get donations from them, and they give us 4 tickets. So for everyone who donates, they get put in a raffle. Tonight, we have our PJ Story Night, and Miss O'Brien, the librarian, is coming in to read for us. I asked the Thunderbirds to give us a 4-pack for tonight, so anyone who brings in PJs tonight can win a 4-pack of tickets. So that's pretty exciting. We currently have 125 PJs that have been donated as of this morning. I had our volunteer count them all, so we're at 125 donated. We're a very generous community, as we all know. We always do the giving tree every year, and this year was hugely successful. Over 110 families were serviced. We had so many gifts that we were able to go to 2 different shelters this year. Nice. They offered another shelter came in, so that was exciting. And I had an opportunity to go and be there the day that all the families came in to get all the gifts in December, which was really exciting to see all these families in need get some of the generous gifts that we got from our community. Probably the biggest thing that we have going on in children's is our summer reading program. That is a program that runs through the whole summer. Last year we had over 1,100 kids join the summer reading program. We have daily programs. Every single day there's usually some sort of program that we're doing. We either do programs ourselves, the people in children's, or we hire outside performers to come in. We are, a lot of libraries are getting away from giving incentives, prizes for reading. We are a community that they are very much driven to the prizes. The kids enjoy reading. They enjoy seeing the prize they can get. Layla and I have had a lot of discussions about this, and we do feel as though that right now our community still loves the incentives. So we will continue to offer that because we want to offer what the community really likes. And the goal is to get kids reading and excited about reading. Right. Working with Layla, we do a lot of fundraising for this summer reading program, and we together we've written grants and looked at outside donations because it's a huge undertaking. When you have that many families coming through the door, we want to make it as exciting. We have a huge kickoff where over 500 people showed up last year, and we offer pizzas and prizes and excitement and music, and it's just a fun way to kick off the summer, but the program also. And without the support from writing those grants with Layla and I, we would never be able to do all the things we love to do. And of course, the Friends are a huge support in that. They help fund a lot of programs and a lot of prizes. So without their support, it would be, again, hard to do such a wonderful program. We always do a service project, and this year with the Summer Olympics going on, our project is going to be the Special Olympics. So that is going to be our service project for the summer, which will be really lovely. The theme this year is Imagine Your Stories. Okay. And it's sort of out there. You kind of can make it what you want. What is your story? It's going to be fairy tale, fables, mythology, but also we're going more on the line. Everyone has a story. What is your story? Can you imagine what it is? And that's really what we're going to focus in on, what the story is, what people's stories are. So I think it's going to be, we have done, and working with Layla, we've really tried to not wait, and we've gotten a lot of things. We are further ahead today for summer reading than we've ever been since I've been in the job in the 7 years. We are in really good shape with ordering prizes, incentives, supplies. So it's a big undertaking, but I feel like we've really worked hard to get much further ahead. And so I feel really confident it's going to be another great season. And I guess lastly, we have done a lot of movement in the children's department in the past 2 years. We've sort of flipped the entire department upside down to try and make the flow a little bit easier for patrons to come in and know where to go and what to get. And we've pulled out some young reader books so that someone that's 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, they're in their own section for books now, and they're not mixed in with the older kid books because it was getting too confusing for them. And so we pulled those out, and our circulation numbers have reflected very positively based on some of these big changes that we've made. Part of the big change in children's and in overall, library services is it's not just about the paper book anymore. And so a couple of the new things that we have that we've been, put some of our investments into is Wonder Books, which is a talking book.
Yeah.
So it's, very popular books that they have. Again, young readers or reluctant readers, you push it on and push play. The book actually reads you the story and dings when it's time to turn the page. So it's read along, it reads to you, it buzzes. So the kids that are reluctant or just parents that want to read, it reads right to them and they can follow along with the words. So very popular, we've had a lot of success. And, there's a volume, they can put headphones in.
Nice.
They don't have to have it read to them, they can just read it.
They can just read it, or they can just read it, exactly.
They have their choice.
They can read it, they can
Isn't that
read it.
great? That's great.
Yeah, it's a great, and they've been very, very popular, so those just came in.
Are the Wonder Books a lot more expensive than a regular hardcover, or?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Just to ask,
They are.
cheapskate asking the question.
Yes, they are. But, again, it's an investment.
Yeah, totally.
As well as, these are things that, who knows, this might be great for 2 years and then something new might come in, or it might continue to be a media form that we're going to use going forward. But it's important that I think that we stay on the cutting edge as to what's new out there and what
But
people
I love
want.
it because it's an audiobook is like not like a real book. This is a real book.
Yeah, it's an actual real book,
It's
and I think
actual
that's
real
what
book. I love
and
that.
there's a lot of families that come in with kids that have special needs or learning or dyslexia, and
Yeah.
they really like these because they can do it at their pace. They can read along, and it's been really very positive for our patrons.
Now, how many do you have?
We have probably around 40 right now.
Wow, that's good. That's
So I'm doing about 5 every 3. The initial order, I ordered 20, and then we're doing about 5 every 3 months.
good. Okay.
And new ones
Are
come
they
out, and
only
I've
in
really
picture book, or are they also?
no. So this goes up to 12. So I have Big Nates. I have a bunch of, young to old. So I've sort of have picture books
Ooh,
for the youngers,
hard
and
to
I have some
decide.
3rd, 4th grade. I have some 4th, 5th grades. So you have books, again, you have a reluctant reader at all ages. Parents are very excited about the opportunity.
Take some of the stress off. of it.
Exactly. And they can put headphones into it and listen to it and follow along. And then the other thing that we've just recently moved forward with is the adults have had Playaways, which is just a device. We have a lot of books on CDs. Most cars, as I'm making them today, do not have CDs in them. So it is a industry and a form of media that we're not sure what it's going to be like going forward. We still, I will say, in children's, CDs still go out. Our books on CDs still go out. But this is just a little Playaway, is a little device. The book is in here. They plug in their headphones and they can listen to the book. Wow. It comes with a AAA battery that they started with them, but we don't supply the battery. If it's in and it works, it's great. If it's not, they know they have to put in a AAA battery. And we've ordered our first big orders, and we have probably about 20 of these. And these are not inexpensive either.
I wasn't going to ask on this one.
Just in case you asked, Cindy. But we've really worked to bring in books that are very popular that the kids would want to take out. Excitingly enough, the Harry Potter series just came out last week on Playaways. It's extremely expensive. Extremely expensive, but we will be buying it I know if it comes in, it'll go out.
Keep going out.
But it's going to be a huge investment.
Are
But
those a
well
2-week
worth.
item or?
This is 3 week.
3 week.
It's like a book
Okay.
item. Yep.
And
like
it's
a-
called Playaway Kids?
These are called Playaway Kids because they have them for adults. These are Playaway Kids. The fun thing that Playaway did do is they made these in different colors. So they have them in red, yellow. You just don't know what color you're going to get your book in. And, families, again, you know, with this audio CD that you stick in the car, everyone has to listen to it.
Mhm.
This, you put in your headphones and you can get 3 different age groups, 3 different books, and they can listen to their own books on
Nice.
CD.
Makes that car
So,
trip a lot
makes a
better.
car trip a lot better. Plane trip, we had a bunch go out for plane trips, bunch go out for car trips. So again, those are some of the new medias that we're doing. So it's not all just programming and those types of things. We're also doing a bunch of other things to ensure we're meeting the needs of our community.
Good job.
We try,
Yeah.
don't we?
Yeah.
We try.
That's awesome.
Any questions about?
Do you ever hear anything? Well, I know you see the parents, so you can talk with the parents and so forth. But I do know that there's an interaction with like Meadowbrook School with the kids and so forth, from with the teachers, because I see some of their written books and stories that you actually put on so people can see. Do you hear anything from teachers from like Meadowbrook School as far as, geez, the kids are coming in and they're excited about this or they're excited about that, or because there's usually a trip to the library sometime during the year.
We have kindergarten visit. We have a kindergarten visit. They come in May for it's a 3-day period. We have all the kindergartners from Meadowbrook come to the school or come to the library.
Yeah.
I'm also on the council meeting for the Meadowbrook School, so I go to that once a month and meet. It's myself and the principal and the assistant principal,
And a couple of parents.
couple of parents, a couple of teachers, PTO, and we just talk about different things. We have a very strong relationship with all of the, elementary schools within the community. Miss O'Brien from the library is the one who's reading our stories tonight. She's a librarian at Meadowbrook. So we do a lot with the schools, and her and I work very closely together. We've given them donated books that we don't have a use for, that we've either received and, they don't have the means to get them. And they've been very helpful for us. If we need anything, we work very closely together. And she tells me the things that they're coming in, talking about some of these forms of media that we have coming in all the time. She's like, they're very excited about this. It's hard sometimes for true librarians to say, it's not a paper book, like when you look at this.
Right.
It's a form of media, it's a form, they're reading, they're listening, it's just a different way to do it.
But we're getting information in all ways now. So.
Absolutely, and we
And
just
it's
need to
working.
stay, exactly, and we need to
That-
stay on
And
top
you
of
gotta
it.
do
That's
what
the
works.
We need to stay relevant, yes,
Yes.
very much.
Yeah. I know. It's just
And the Wonder Book, when did we get those in?
These first came in last August.
Okay.
Well, the order was August, so I think it came in September.
Are the
so.
school librarians still helping promote the summer reading program?
So we have the big promotion with the school librarians.
Yeah,
Actually,
they were excellent with that.
actually send out, Gordon Smith sends out a letter
Yeah.
about the summer reading program to every parent, but then the librarians take posters, they promote it, and we're figuring that out. We want to get more exposure to the schools and get out there and communicate the program. It's just hard because assemblies, it's hard to pull a school together. But we are changing what we're sending out and not make it as wordy as it was in the past, but make it more of, you want to be a part of this exciting event that we have going on, instead of talking about a lot of the things which we can communicate when they get here.
great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Fantastic job.
Oh, thank you.
Well, of course, we know how busy the children's area is, and I think that anybody who's a children's librarian and the staff and so forth, they all do a fantastic job, and the community. The community owes you an awful lot, and so forth.
But the community appreciates it.
They're very supportive.
They are
You know,
supportive.
Very,
So,
very supportive of what we do. I agree.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
We can't thank you enough
Oh,
on behalf of the
thanks for
community, and
Right,
so forth.
absolutely.
You do a
We had a
fantastic
good
job.
teacher.
Good job, Cindy.
Yeah, can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Well, we appreciate that you took the time to
No,
come
I
and
thank you
share
for
this
having
kind
me
of
come. Thank you
information.
for inviting me.
Because we love
I'm
hearing
just so
this
proud
stuff.
of everything you've been doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Totally.
Thank
and
you.
and when I've gone in, it's just that the room looks fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, we made a lot of.
And that's a lot of work, I mean,
Good
because they're
changes.
doing everything else too.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
reference,
yeah.
we're,
Right.
you know,
It's
we do
everything.
the technical side, the reference side, it is everything. It's your own little library within the big
Within
library.
the
Right,
library,
true.
that is correct,
And
yeah.
running we're doing programs, running programs, but it's
Absolutely.
great. I have wonderful people
Some
that work
great
for me,
staff
for
in there.
children's.
Always.
It's great staff
Yeah,
that work
yeah.
in children's, so
I know.
we're
And
very
you
lucky.
can't do it alone, you know, you
No.
just can't. It-
No.
Big task.
And
You
I-
can only offer so much.
Exactly.
If it's just one person and,
Sure,
you know.
yeah.
so-
And I
So they
do,
work well
I do look
together.
at the cover to cover every
Oh, yeah.
month,
Yeah.
the beginning of the month, and I go,
Yeah, there's a lot on there. There
you
is.
know, and writing workshop, you know, we think of libraries and we think read, you
Yeah,
know, and so
no,
forth.
yeah.
And we do writing workshops and so forth for, I know, all age groups and so forth, but to see it at that young
It's
level.
funny, Diane, because so many people would say, "Oh, you're a children's librarian." I would love to be that because you can just read all
All day,
day.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's not really.
Not exactly.
Not really.
Not really.
But
I know.
But
What other
when you
thing?
retire, you might be able to.
Exactly, it's so true, so very true. But I'm blessed to have the job.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great job too.
Well,
My lecturers too.
Please tell your staff how much we
I
think
will.
you're doing a
Oh,
great
absolutely.
job.
I will.
Please,
I will
appreciation.
make
you
sure
know,
they
please.
know that. I will absolutely let them know. I
Please.
appreciate
And the
all you guys
community
do, and-
appreciates it, I know, because I talk to people in the
And we just want to meet their needs, and you know, fortunately, we have an opportunity to do that here, so
That's great,
which is great.
great.
So thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
We
you.
thank you for your time.
You're very welcome. It's like
Get
PJ
up.
night, so
You better-
we have a lot of
you
people
better
that
go
are
put your
here. We have the
PJs on.
Bruins, we have the PJ Drive. Hopefully
Never
we're
a
fine.
dull moment.
No, which is great. Thank you guys for having me.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you know, I'll switch chairs because I'm like,
So you want the taller one?
you know, I'm short anyway. And I'm like, practically under the table.
Okay.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
I'm an adult now.
All right, for our next order of business, we'll go to our minutes of January 15th. And just for the sake of the viewers who may not be familiar with our board, we do receive advanced copies of the minutes. And I'm just going to ask him, did you have an opportunity to read them?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And is there any edits or anything that you saw in there that should be addressed, changed, whatever? So is there a motion to accept the
I'd
minutes?
like to make a motion to accept the minutes for January 15th,
I'll
2020.
second the motion.
Okay, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, we'll move on to the director's narrative report.
Copy. Thank you.
Okay.
So first we have town information, and that is the library is partnering with the town clerk's office to provide a conveniently located forum for early voting in the upcoming 2020 elections. So starting February 24th through February 28th, and there is also a flyer included in your packets. We will be the site in the community room here for early voting. The hours are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8 to 4, with extended hours on Wednesday, February 26th from 8 to 8 p.m. Also under town information, annual reports will be due to the town manager on Monday, March 16th. I'm currently working on the library's annual report, and I'll send a draft to all trustees to review prior to the report submission to the town manager. Building maintenance, the light near the women's restroom on the first floor needs a ballast replaced. Financial information. The Friends of the East Long Meadow Public Library received notification of a pending sizable bequest. The Friends asked me to share this notice with the Board of Library Trustees, and they are also working with Town Manager Mary McNally to handle this bequest. More information will be coming soon. The Friends are very excited. As Michelle mentioned, public services, the library is participating in the annual Boston Bruins Cradles to Crayons Pajama Donation Drive. New pajamas for children ages birth through teen are collected and distributed to local Department of Children and Families offices to be given to local youth experiencing displacement. All of the donations are kept here in Western Massachusetts to distribute. We will be accepting new pajamas from February 1st through March 15th, and patrons that enter the pajama drive will be entered into a prize drawing. You can win several memorabilia type items from the Bruins, or if you attend tonight's special pajama story time with Mrs. O'Brien, those families that participate and donate will be entered to win a 4-pack tickets to see the Springfield Thunderbirds hockey team. And thank you to the Thunderbirds for also donating those prizes. I'm going to start having open office hours in the conference room on the second Thursday of every month from 10 to noon. Anyone can stop by the conference room and discuss library-related matters. And the first session will be Thursday, March 12th. Spring advocacy season is upon us. And I included some flyers in that as well. Examples of local opportunities include the upcoming legislative breakfast to be held Friday, March 6th at 9 a.m. at the new East Forest Park branch of the Springfield City Library. If trustees would like to attend that, it is requested that they either email or telephone Jean Canosa Albano. Her contact information is on here just to register so they have an idea of how many people would be attending. Another example of statewide advocacy that will take place is the annual Legislative Day in Boston on Thursday, April 2nd. National advocacy can be conducted by writing a letter to your congressperson to oppose President Trump's proposed closure of the Institute of Museum and Library Services, included in his budget request for fiscal 21. List of grants that are available through the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners are funded through IMLS grants. So that was just one example of something that would impact library
But it would
services.
be others too, correct?
Pardon me?
Other things might be impacted by that too.
For the Commonwealth, in specific, it would be the Library Services and Technology Act grants. For other states, it would be other.
Other things, okay.
Yes, yeah. So that would
So
be a
that's-
national impact.
So that's probably the only thing that will impact us if it gets eliminated.
That I know of at this
That you
time.
know, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the final note on my report is that the borrower's policy may need to be reviewed this spring, and trustees might want to consider adding a description of auto renewal, reviewing library fines, and a clarification of the holds pickup procedure.
Is that not working so well?
There seems to be we do have a few newer library staff members. Holds are covered by the borrower's policy already under privacy, but sometimes it can be tempting to find a way to get to yes, even if someone doesn't have, for example, someone's library card with them to pick up holds on behalf of someone else.
Okay.
So that part of it might need to be clarified, just to have it in the policy right there so that staff have better understanding of privacy and implications. You know, of course, everyone wants to be so helpful
Yeah.
that they want to just hand the materials over, but of course those need to be adhered to under privacy laws.
Okay.
I have a question for you. And maybe you might not have the answer, maybe Michelle might have, and it is, do you find that there's, with the pajamas, do you find people tend to think of the younger kids rather than the older kids for the pajamas? I worry about the kids that are like 10, 12 years
'cause
old,
they
and
can
you know, we always think of kind of like the babies or the younger kids and
Kindergarten.
so forth, and I have this thoughts more for the older kids who seem to always holiday
even
time and
teens.
so forth. They kind of
Get left out.
get forgotten.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just check with
Oh
you.
yeah, there is a need for, you know, particularly for, you know, 13, 14-year-olds, you know, they're still
Right.
youth and are still experiencing displacement.
Sure.
And yeah, people do often think of the, you know, the babies, but there is a need out there for all ages, for sure.
Okay. And I'm glad you brought up about the borrower's policy too,
Right.
because I think I forwarded to everybody, I don't know, an email with regards to, there was a webinar recently with regards to
Yes.
fines and so forth. So that would, certainly be a great opportunity to discuss that when we review that particular policy. So,
Maybe in April.
yeah, yep, so, great. I do not think we need to vote to accept
I
doing,
don't think we did.
no.
It was fine.
For what the directors are doing?
Yeah, for the director's report. I think we kind of got into the habit of it because the director used to do a monthly financial report type of thing when we were involved with
the finance,
budgets,
right.
and so forth. So, but this is great information. And as far as all these little incentives, I think is
Lots going on.
they're fun. Everybody likes
Yeah,
a
there's
little.
a lot.
So I did bring some save the date for legislative day for April 2. If somebody just, if you want to just take a little reminder with you, you could pin
Good-
it on
good
your
to have a
refrigerator. Put it up on your refrigerator with a
Refrigerator.
magnet or
Yeah,
you know, on your
yeah,
cork
perfect.
board, something like that. It has more information on the back of it as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, great.
Here, I'll put that.
Put one, yeah. Maybe we can
And I'll
get
put
these to
pen.
Michael and, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
and Kendra.
yep. There you go. Thank you.
They are the perfect size for the refrigerator.
Yes,
They
it is.
are.
I think I might.
Was that on
Just
purpose?
All right. Well, as long as legislative day, and then I'll move along with the regular agenda. But I did have a little more information that was sent with regards to legislative day in Boston that I got, and it tells you about, let me just, because I don't want to be repetitious, to be honest with you. But it tells you what the agenda is for the day down in Boston. And what happens is it also tells you if you're planning to go to Boston, to make sure that you register.
Okay.
Okay? So I brought some extra copies.
And there'll be a bus that goes, right?
It's at the State House in Boston.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a bus that goes?
There is a bus that goes, and,
Usually there is.
yeah, I haven't received that email yet.
Okay.
This is, I don't know if, Layla, did you get that? I always ask it because I never know what comes in my box. So I don't want to be repetitious and so
Thank you.
forth. But it tells you what the agenda's like for the day, like the check, what time check-in is, and when you can meet your legislators, and what the time is, what time lunch is, what time, so that kind of helps, knowing that in advance. They usually do have a bus. I know last year I did take the bus, and as we've all heard recently about the traffic in and out of Boston, we ended up arriving late. We got there between more 10-ish, 10:30. So anyways,
Did you get the bus in West Springfield?
I got it in Palmer.
Oh,
In
okay.
Palmer. They have several different locations. I think it starts in West Springfield. And this was what it was like. I don't
Yeah,
want to say
it
it's
might
going to
be
be this
different,
way,
okay.
this coming. But I believe it started in West Springfield, it stopped in Palmer, then it stopped in Auburn, and then continued straight to Boston. But I certainly did appreciate the drivers, the one that took us there, because I wouldn't want to drive through Boston and so forth. So
They're
that's,
used to it, right?
yes, they're used to it. It's not my kind of thing. That's why I take the bus or what have you. But it's just we were just happened to hit a period of time where you know, we were just slower to arrive, and, you know, just hit the wrong time, whatever. Whether there was an accident, I do not know, but it happens. So I'm just telling you, if you decide to go, sometimes you might get there a little bit later than that 9 o'clock that it says on there. All right, let's see, new business says spring 2020 advocacy. All right, which was, all right, and then I think, it's moving on to the, bylaws.
Okay, thank you.
And so I am going to hand the floor over to Melanie, who is the chairperson of our bylaws subcommittee.
Okay, thank you, Diane. So we will be working on the August 2015 trustee bylaws, since it was town approved. And this is the language we are working from. In front of you is a copy of the draft bylaws that the subcommittee has recommended to the trustees based on the extensive research we have done and the information we received from our town charter, reading the town bylaws, American Library Association, other libraries, and the MBLC, the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, and even reviewed by lawyer and reviewed by the head of the advisory and development from the MBLC. All recommendations and edits have been addressed, and we feel the document is ready to be reviewed by the trustees. The MBLC has paid me the highest compliments. Our trustee bylaws are very thorough and well written. The MBLC has expressed their appreciation for our thoroughness and would like to use our trustee bylaws as a guide for other Board of Library Trustees.
Way to go, girl.
We have taken our time with the trustee bylaws since this is a very important document. Trustees research and seek help when needed. It was our responsibility to exercise due diligence in searching for answers and reviewing the research. In this process, not only are we demonstrating thoroughness, but we are also being proactive rather than reactive in response to any situation. The subcommittee very patiently listened, and we have taken into account what we have heard from others. We have taken the time to manage ample requests. We closely listen to fellow trustees, the library, our town, the community, and many library patrons. I would like to personally thank each and every one of you who has helped us along the way and who demonstrated patience and teamwork. You all know who you are. The Library Board of Trustees is an appointed board, enumerated explicitly in the town charter. The Library Board of Trustees is the town council's eyes and ears, and our role is oversight. Our board's role is oversight, however, we all know we have no budgetary authority and no supervisory role. That is not the same thing as saying that the Library Trustees has no role. As long as our bylaws don't conflict with town charter and town bylaws, these bylaws will have full force and effect. The bylaws will serve as a rulebook of board operations and procedures, and hence will foster consistency, order, and organization. Our responsibilities are outlined in this document, in which we are clearly communicating our expectations. All library trustees of all libraries are governing bodies. We, the trustees, amend existing policies and we create new ones. We are an advisory board. We do not have any budgetary authority, and we do not have a supervisory role over the library director, and therefore we do not handle the day-to-day operations of the library, since those responsibilities are held by the library director. Trustees' bylaws will be clearly written, in which we will use normal, plain English language. The trustees and only the trustees can command the timing of the writing of these bylaws, no one else. Trustees always act in the library's best interest. Trustees are tasked with big issue matters such as overall direction and mission of our library, the general governance of setting policy, and of course, the strategic planning matters. The procedure that we are going to take is now simple. I will read the entire draft document to you, article by article, section by section, without interruption. Please mark your pages with a red check mark next to the areas if you have questions or comments for the subcommittee. There are plenty of little
Little
markers and little bit. After I read the entire draft document completely, we can then answer your questions one page at a time, starting with the first page. In this way, it will be organized and have a nice consistent flow. After we vote on this draft, I will then make edits, if any, and then submit the draft to Town Council for their review and approval. Their bylaw review committee will then introduce our trustee bylaws at 2 separate public town council meetings. I will keep the trustees posted on this process. The task will then be completed. Per our town's home rule charter, black ink is the original language. Black strike-throughs are what we would like to omit. Red ink is the new language. Let's get started. Board bylaws, Article 1, name and authorization. This organization shall be named the Board of Trustees of the East Long Meadow Public Library, existing by virtue of the provisions of the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 78, Sections 10 through 13, and exercising the powers and authority and assuming responsibilities delegated to it under the said statute and by the Town of East Long Meadow Home Rule Charter, adopted on July 1st, 2016, and related bylaws of the Town of East Long Meadow, Massachusetts. It shall be referred to herein as the Board. Article 2, Trustees, Section 1, Number and Qualifications. The governing body of the library is composed of 6 members, who are residents of East Long Meadow and appointed by the town manager, unless rejected by a majority of town council members by roll call vote within 45 days or at the next regular town council meeting, whichever comes first. Section 2, Purpose. The board shall represent the interests, the issues, and concerns of the library to the library director, the town manager, and to the public. Its role is to listen to the community and bring their ideas and recommendations to the library director. In addition, the board's duties shall include establishing and reviewing general operating and administrative policies for the governance of the library, advising on community needs, speaking as advocates for the library, and act as liaisons to the library director, the town manager, and to the public. The board shall also act as liaisons between the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners and to the town. Section 3, Term of Office. Each trustee shall serve a 3-year staggered term with 2 members appointed annually. A trustee whose term has expired shall remain in office until he/she is replaced or reappointed. Section 4, Term Limits. The term limit of a member of the board shall not exceed 3 consecutive terms or 9 years. After serving 3 consecutive terms, no individual trustee shall continue to serve on the board until having left the board for at least 1 year. Section 5, Resignations, Vacancies. A vacancy on the board may exist at the occurrence of a resignation, death, or removal of any trustee. No resignation of a member of the board shall be deemed effective unless and until such resignation is filed with the town clerk or such later time, certain as may be specified in such a resignation. Upon receipt of resignation, the town clerk shall notify the remaining members of the board and shall further notify the town manager, and such notifications shall include the effective resignation date. If requested, the board will provide input to assist and advise the town manager regarding the appointment of an individual to fill any vacancies of a term. The candidate shall be sworn to the office prior to the next board meeting if possible or soon thereafter, and will complete the unexpired term. Section 6, Attendance. Faithful attendance at regularly scheduled board meetings is expected from all board members. Any member unable to attend a meeting is to give notice to the chairperson or the library director in advance. Any member who fails to attend 3 consecutive regularly scheduled board meetings without giving notice shall be deemed to have resigned. The chairperson shall take the following steps prior to the board making a final determination. Any member who fails to attend 2 consecutive regularly scheduled board meetings without giving notice will receive a registered letter advising the member of this fact and ask him or her to demonstrate continued interest as a board member by faithfully attending meetings in the future or consider resigning from the board. Number 2, any member who fails to attend 3 consecutive regularly scheduled board meetings without giving notice will receive a registered letter accepting his or her resignation. Copies of these letters shall be included in the board's minutes. In the event of illness or other extenuating circumstances, exceptions to this provision will be made by formal vote of the board. Should circumstances dictate, the board, by majority vote, may recommend to the town manager that a member's appointment be terminated. Section 7, ex officio. The library director shall be an ex officio, non-voting member of the board. Article 3, officers. Section 1, officers. The officers of the board shall be a chairperson, a vice chairperson, and a secretary. The officers shall be elected by the board at an annual organizational meeting of the board in the month of May. They shall hold office until the next annual organizational meeting of the board and until their respective successors are elected. The chairperson shall not be elected to serve more than 2 consecutive terms of office. Section 2, duties of the chairperson: to preside at all meetings of the board, to call special meetings of the board, to ensure due notice of all regular, monthly, and special meetings is issued, to prepare an agenda for each meeting in collaboration with the library director, to appoint members to and designate the duties of any special committees, to serve ex officio as a member of all committees of the board, to act as general spokesperson of the board, to sign any necessary authorization papers, to support fundraising activities and public events at the library, to ensure that all members have taken the oath of office, to exercise control over public meetings and ensure that the proper decorum is maintained and that such meetings are conducted in an orderly and appropriate manner, to provide guidance to incoming trustees as to policies and procedures of the board. Section 3, duties of the vice chairperson: to perform the duties of the chairperson of the board at the request of or in the absence of the chairperson. Section 4, duties of the secretary: to keep true and accurate records of all meetings of the board and forward them to their library director, to sign minutes of the meetings once they are approved, to prepare written communication of a personal nature on behalf of the board, such as thank you notes and invitations, etc., to perform such other duties as are generally associated with that office. Article 4, library director and staff. The board shall assist in the recruiting, interviewing, and the reviewing of credentials of candidates for the position of the library director. The board shall recommend and advise the town manager regarding the appointment of a library director to supervise the operation of the library. The town manager shall appoint a qualified director in possession of an MLS degree from an ALA accredited institution, who shall be the executive and administrative officer of the library on behalf of the town manager and the board. The library director shall appoint other employees and shall be responsible for the proper direction and supervision of staff, for the care and maintenance of library property, for the selection of books and other library materials and maintenance of the library's materials collection in keeping with the materials selection policy adopted by the board, for the effectiveness of library services to the public, for the library's financial operation within the limitations of the approved budget, for advancement of the strategic goals and objectives of the library as communicated by the board or as set forth in the current long-range strategic plan, and pursue grants and other sources of funds for the library. The library director, as the ex officio non-voting member of the board, shall attend all board meetings and shall provide a written report for presentation at each meeting, advise and inform the board on library matters, including, but not limited to, making policy, budget, preparations and updates, annual analysis of the long-range strategic plans, and decisions to improve efficiency and quality of library services. The library director shall apprise the board of updates from state and regional library organizations, provide advanced notice of visits by state and local officials, alert members of local and civic organization events, and encourage participation when appropriate. Article 5, committees. Section 1, appointment. The chairperson shall appoint committees of 1 or more members, each for such specific purposes as the business of the board may require from time to time. The committee shall be considered to be discharged upon completion of the purpose for which it was appointed, and after the final report is made to and approved by the board. Standing committees shall be Nomination of Officers Committee, Policy Development Committee, Trustees Bylaws Review Committee. Section 2, reports. All committees shall make a progress report to the board at each of its meetings. Section 3, powers. No committee will have other than advisory powers unless by suitable action of the board is granted specific power to act. Article 6, meetings. Section 1, regular meetings. The board shall meet monthly at a posted place, date, and time. The notice shall include a list of topics that the chairperson reasonably anticipates will be discussed at the meeting. Section 2, special meetings. Special meetings of the board may be called by the chairperson or upon written request of 2 members to the chairperson for the transaction of business as stated in the meeting request. Notice stating the time and place of any special meeting and the purpose of which it is called shall be given each member of the board at least 3 days in advance of the meeting. Notice of the meeting, except in emergency cases, shall be provided to the public 48 hours in advance, excluding Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. Section 3, postponement of meetings. If the library closes due to inclement weather on a day that a meeting is scheduled to take place, members may set a date for another regularly scheduled meeting to be held within 1 week of its cancellation. Section 4, quorum and action by vote. A quorum for transaction of business shall consist of a simple majority of 4 members. An affirmative vote of the majority of all members of the board present at a meeting shall be necessary to approve an action before the board. The chairperson may vote upon and may move or second a proposal before the board. In the event of a tie vote, the motion will be defeated. If a quorum is not present at a regularly scheduled meeting, the attending members may set a date for another meeting to be held within 1 week, and the presiding officer shall notify the absent members of the specially called meeting. Discussions may be held in a meeting that lacks quorum, but no binding vote may be taken. Section 5, order of business. An agenda shall be prepared by the library director in collaboration with the chairperson before all meetings and distributed to board members in advance. Agendas for board meetings will follow the general format below. Call to order, public comments, concerns, and suggestions, approval of minutes of previous meetings, director's report, committee reports, old business, new business, friends of the library report, other business, date for next meeting, executive session if needed, adjournment. The board reserves the right to amend the order of business. Section 6, open meeting law. All meetings of the board shall be subject to the state's open meeting law as contained in Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Sections 18 through 25. In particular, all meetings are open to the public unless held in executive session under terms of the law. A notice of all meetings, except in case of emergency, will be filed with the town clerk at least 48 hours beforehand, excluding Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays, and a copy of the minutes of meetings will be available for public inspection. Section 7, parliamentary rules. Except as provided for by these bylaws, the current edition of Robert's Rules of Order shall govern as parliamentary rules for the conduct of meetings. Article 7, duties of the trustees. Number 1, shall ensure in consultation with the library director that the library meets statutory and regulatory requirements of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 78, Sections 19A and 19B, and 605 Code of Massachusetts Regulations, Section 4, so that the town of East Long Meadow will be certified annually by the MBLC in order to qualify for state aid to public library grants. Number 2, in the event the Board of Trustees of the East Long Meadow Public Library is named the recipient of restricted or unrestricted funds, the board will take the following steps. Create an endowment fund which will be established to produce income to supplement the East Long Meadow Public Library's annual municipal budget. Manage and distribute restricted funds such as those received from a trust fund and comply with the stipulated purpose designated by the donor. Manage and judiciously distribute unrestricted funds based on the needs of the library and in accordance with its mission statement. Number 3, shall assist the library director with input from staff, community representatives, residents, non-residents, and the library patrons in the creation of 5-year strategic plans, which assess the needs of the library and the role of the library in the community and ensure the library develops to meet those needs. Number 4, shall conduct in consultation with the library director an annual review in November as to the progress in achieving the goals and objectives as set forth in the library's current 5-year strategic plan in order to introduce the strategic plan to new trustees and remind existing members of its content, promote communication between the library director and the board in setting and advancing goals and objectives for the library, and provide input for the unique perspective of the board to the town manager. Number 5, if requested by the town manager, the board shall assist in the recruiting, interviewing, and reviewing of credentials of candidates for the position of library director. Number 6, establish written policies for the selection of library materials and the use of library materials and facilities which are in accord with the current standards of the American Library Association as provided for by Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 78, Section 33. Number 7, determine, develop, and implement in consultation with the library director library policies that govern library services and maintain a written record of them. Number 8, support the library director in preparation of the library budget and, if requested, participate in its presentation in town boards and officials and work for its adoption by the municipality. Number 9, through the library director, monitor the maintenance of buildings and grounds and regularly review facility needs to see that they meet requirements of the total library program. Number 10, speak and act as an advocate for the library in the community and participate in an active public relations program. Number 11, study and support legislation that will benefit the library and the larger library community of which it is part. Number 12, shall annually prepare or cause to be prepared to submit to the town manager a report in writing covering clearly and concisely the work of its department for the preceding year for inclusion in the annual town report. Number 13, shall inform newly appointed members of the board the responsibilities, policies, and procedures of the board. Number 14, shall support the principles of the American Library Association, freedom to read, freedom to view, and the Library Bill of Rights. 15, shall maintain open and candid communications with the library director. Number 16, shall cooperate with other public officials and boards and maintain vital public relations. Number 17, in general, the board shall monitor the operations and procedures of the library in their capacity as representatives of the citizens of the town. This supervisory responsibility shall not be construed so as to interfere with the responsibility and prerogatives of the library director in regard to the day-to-day administration of the library and the implementation of trustees' policies. Article 8, collective authority of the board. All decisions of the board are made by the board as a collective body. No individual member may make decisions or act or speak for the board unless specifically authorized to do so by a vote of the membership of the board. Article 9, inconsistent provisions. To the extent that any provision of these bylaws is inconsistent with a provision of the Massachusetts General Law or the East Long Meadow Home Rule Charter or the town's general bylaws, the Massachusetts General Laws, the Home Rule Charter, or the town's bylaws, so as the case may be, shall govern. Article 10, amendments. These bylaws may be amended at any regularly scheduled meeting of the board with a quorum present by a majority vote of the members present, provided that a motion presenting the amendment was made and seconded at the preceding regular meeting. Ta-da! Yay! Okay.
I see you brought up
It
a bottle
should
of
have
water.
been about 28.5 minutes.
Wow.
Okay, so at this time, I'd like to take questions and comments. Let's start with page 1.
I like page 1.
Page-
What?
I
Page
like
one?
page 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So are there any questions on page 1?
Yep.
Everybody's good with everything?
Yep.
Okay,
Page.
moving on to page 2.
I just had one question. On
Sure, on page 1.
Page 2.
Oh, page 2. Okay, okay.
It says, any member who fails to attend 2 consecutive regularly scheduled board meetings without giving notice to who?
Okay, so if you
To the
look
chairperson.
above, it'll be to the
Oh, I
chairperson
got it.
or library
Okay.
director. I thought about writing that twice, and I figured we'll just
It doesn't really
blanket
need to be
cover
if
it.
you read that
Yeah, right.
carefully.
So it would be to the chairperson or the library director.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have to the town manager?
No.
Okay. That's all.
Chairperson or library director. Okay, so page 2, we're good? No questions? Okay, moving right along to page 3. Starting with Article 3.
I'm good with 3.
Good with that.
No questions? Moving right along to page 4. Starting with Article 4. Seeing there are none, moving right along to page 5, starting with Section 2, Special Meetings.
Yeah,
Moving right along to page 6, starting with Section 6, Open Meeting Law.
Good with
Okay.
6, yeah.
Moving right along to page 7, starting with number 5. Moving along to page number 8, seeing that there was none in 7. Starting with Article 9.
It's good up to 8.
It looks good.
a lot of work.
It's all
A lot of work there, exactly.
Yeah.
What a good,
It's,
yeah.
I feel it's a very complete, good, firm document.
I think so too.
Lots of work, research,
You
dotted our
can
i's,
tell.
crossed our t's. Lots of help, and I'm very thankful and grateful to everybody who has helped in every way.
Can we take a vote to
Yep.
accept the bylaws?
Yep.
Is that what we do next?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so. So, at this point in time, can I have a motion to accept the amended bylaws to be presented to the town council
Okay.
for their review and for their approval? And, should they have additional comments, then we will,
Take that up.
take that
I'll
up,
make it.
you know, so if
I'll
that's
make a motion.
everybody's pleasure, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the amended East Long Meadow Library Board of Library Trustees Board bylaws
And I'll
to be
second that.
submitted to the town council for their approval and any recommendations they may have.
Yep.
And so I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
And a great thank you to Melanie
Thank
for
you.
this. This is a tremendous
Thank you
amount of
very
work.
much.
Was it's good, you know,
It's a good,
A
it's a
lot
good
of I's
document.
and T's to
It
dot
really is.
and cross.
excellent to everybody, and trying to work in, not only for today, but for in the future. And hopefully it's a good, hopefully it's a good, what do I want to say? A good basis.
Yeah.
It's a good basis. Okay, excellent. So I guess at this point in time, since we voted to move forward, your committee is done and over.
Dissolved.
I know. I don't know what else to do with my time.
You can have a party.
I think I am.
You can say, introduce yourself to your husband and your children
Yes.
again.
Nobody knows me anymore.
No, great job.
Thank you.
Any old business? Anybody think of anything? No. All right. Other business is library, the Friends News. So they had their meeting. They always meet on the first Monday of the month, and that was February 4th. And their focus at that meeting was the preparation for the following Saturday's chocolate sampling. What happens is they had quite the group. They, you know, quite a lot of guests that came through, and people who count on it every year, you know, they're right at the dot when the door first opens up. And, you know, you think, oh, gosh, you know, I hope, you know, first is I hope we made enough, you know, and so forth, and so forth. There was a steady stream of
I
people.
stopped by and it looked fantastic.
You know, there was close to 100 people that came.
Wow.
Yeah. So it really is very well received, is what I'm saying, and that people look for it to happen. You know, every year they count on it. They count on it, and they want to know, where's the whoopie pies that's you know, they get used to certain things and they want to know. They say, oh, you know. But anyways, we had very little food left, which is just what you want, you know, when 3 o'clock came rolling around. And what was left over, what we did was we said, staff will appreciate the leftovers. So we brought the leftovers for them to have and also to share with whatever left over with those that who show up on Monday. And I do hope that everybody enjoyed the little.
Do you get any people who come in that ask to join the Friends?
That was my next
Oh,
question.
yeah. There was, yes, we had, well, first we had a couple of renewals, which was good, and I don't have all the breakdown of everything, but I do know we did get a couple of new members, so that's really,
That's a great thing.
it is a good thing. So, and also what was exciting was that Friends had the drawing for the Doug Braga print.
Oh.
I don't know if you noticed it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So what happened was they did do the drawing for that, and they made the phone call to the individual. And I guess Doug Braga, my understanding, was that Doug Braga himself actually came by and actually, in addition to the art print that was donated by another individual, Doug said, oh, I'll give you, he has a book with his different art that he has done over the years. So like if you wanted to pick this one or that one, you know, he has a book that has all his works
in it.
You can go on.
Catalog.
Yeah, you can go on to Amazon. And you can actually see, and if they have it, you might be able to get it. But if not, I guess there's other ways. So what happened was the phone call was made. The individual who won was very, you know, was very happy and pleased, and the friend who called her after hanging up went, oh, I forgot to tell her about the book that's going to go along with it. So she ended up trying to reach her back. She tried, I'm going to exaggerate here, I'm sure, but she tried calling somewhere between 5-10 times, and someone in the line was busy. So she said she must be calling all her relatives and so forth. So it was a very nice afternoon, and the weather cooperated and so forth. So that was what I can tell you about the trend, the Friends and so forth. And they will be meeting again the first Monday in March. So for their next thing. Then Trustees updates. I have here from the Massachusetts Library Trustees Association. On Friday, March 6th, from 10 to noon, they will be having an MLTA board meeting at the Shrewsbury Public Library. This meeting is going to be devoted to their website development, and all are welcome to their meetings. And so if you have any suggestions, recommendations, they have a site, an email address that I'd be more than happy to share with you. I can forward this to you on my, you'd like that?
I would like that.
Okay, okay.
Type it up correctly in the minutes.
Okay, so let me just make a note, forward to everybody. Yeah, I don't want to be throwing things in your inbox. But just automatically, I like to let you know about it in advance.
I know you don't want
Okay.
to knock those ads out.
Okay, yeah.
The junk mail.
Junk mail,
Yeah,
We
well,
all get it.
so much.
oh, this was, this has to do with, the future is fine-free, how libraries are increasing equity, engagement, and access for their communities. It was a webinar that took place last Thursday. And what happens is, it gives a website and so forth, but there's information that you can go to as well about seeing what other, it's across the country, it's not just in Massachusetts. So I think the timing of us reviewing,
Yeah.
it's just was really a nice coincidence, let's put it that way. And then what happens is we'll wait for them to discuss that. But I think that Layla, a couple years ago, we discussed it, and Layla was really on the front line, and trying to nudge us in that direction. And I know that I myself was kind of hesitant and so forth, but the more I'm learning, the more I'm reading, she was right. We should have been right at the top there, moving things along. And I think part of it too, what's kind of helped me start that, the leaning and so forth, was also having the change by C.W. Mars, making that automatic renewal too, and so forth. So, and I mean, I don't know, Layla, maybe I can address you now as far as the auto renewal and how that has changed as far as all of the collections and so forth. Do you want to talk about it now or wait till the next?
Let's talk about it at the next, because I'm not really prepared with numbers
Right.
or anything
No.
for this one. So we
just-
can talk about it at the next meeting.
Yeah, so that's great.
Sure.
One other thing, or maybe two other things, sorry. The MBLC has another upcoming event. It's called the Strategic Plan Stakeholder Workshop. It says, pardon me for reading to you all. One of the most valuable ways to develop a deep understanding of your community's needs and MBLC's ability to deliver services to meet those needs is to involve a broad range of internal and external stakeholders as early as possible in the strategic planning process. By engaging everyone in this way, stakeholders develop ownership of the plan and gain commitment to its implementation, making the critical shift from buy-in to join-in. This makes communicating and engaging people in executing the plan a more integrated and organic activity that is more easily accomplished. They're having a workshop, one that's closest to us, because they have different locations throughout the state. But what's closest to us will take place on Wednesday, March 11th, from 1:30 to 3:30, up in the MLS in Northampton, which is at 243 King Street. And I personally, I've registered to be a part of that, because I think we all understand better. So I happen to think it's good. So anyway, they want to get ideas to help them out too.
Okay.
All right, and one last thing that I have was just that there's going to be a spring trustee orientation that's going to take place. And the closest one will be taking place on Tuesday, April 7th at Monterey Library. And that is really western Massachusetts. It's south of Lee, Massachusetts. Wow. So it's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And of course, all trustees are welcome to attend. And I just wanted to let you know that it is available, but that's the closest I could find for us. And,
And on the brighter side,
yeah.
you can hit all the outlets.
Yeah.
Are they right there?
Go.
But it's at night, so we have to go early.
Go early.
Right.
Leave here at 3, go shopping at 4, have a little dinner, and
And
show
then
up at
go.
6.
Right.
Okay. All right. So,
Good thought.
And I'm not a shopper either.
I'm a people watcher, more or less. All right. Now, does anybody have anything else to bring before the board tonight? All right. Our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 18th at 6 p.m. And at this point in time, I would appreciate a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I'll second it.
And does everybody
Yes,
agree?
yes, sorry.
No, that was me.
I went to write Michael and you're David.
So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much.